1.1.8. User documentation is any document which labels the features and functions to its users. It comes in the forms of books, PDFs, or websites. It's important due to the fact that some code can get very big and complex, especially in big companies, and the user's way of thinking may be different to the programmers. And lastly, the users may not know how to make full use of the product, and therefore the guides will help them. It should be simple. If a system is very complex to use and the help guide is very complex for the user to follow it, it may be inefficient for the users starting to get used to adapt to the system quickly. However, if it's simple, then the user can follow on easily and they can adapt to the system quickly, and therefore they can continue working efficiently or more efficiently. Since the users are not developers, they don't really need to know how the system works. They only need to know how they should use the system. So there shouldn't be any kind of big paragraphs in the user guides on how the system works. Internal documentation is when a programmer keeps notes within the code, so it's easier to follow or understand. So for example, in Java, this may be seen as that. And external documentation is written as a separate documentation. It is provided through various types of supporting documents such as user guides, software requirements, design description, and implementation features. Types of user documentation. User documentation can be written online or in a book, and it should include all the appropriate features of software and have a structured plan with appropriate categories. Some of the forms of user documentation include manuals, user support, embedded assistance, or integrated user assistance, and so on. These are three of the most common user documentation you'll find. Help files are one of them. They're files that usually accompany the system for the user to open when they're using the system. Some of the advantages is that they are accessible at all times, give simple general terms on how the system should be used, and gives general direction to fix major errors that may occur in the system. Some disadvantages could be only usable after the system is installed, so it doesn't give you that kind of direction on how to install the system. Only often deal with general areas and not more complex specific ones that some clients may have, and in some cases can lack a search capability. So it takes time for them to find a problem that maybe online support may have. The second one is online support. This is a help service provided by the developer in order to provide user documentation. The advantages is usually more expensive than help file. Oh, sorry, there's a typo there. I'll skip past that. They are looked at continuously in order to deal with the frequent asked questions. Live support is often provided for kind of more specific problems. Some of the disadvantages are not available if no internet connection, and live support may be unhelpful if the users are not familiar with computers. And the last one is printed manuals. These are kind of manuals that are printed on paper and are provided with the system. Some of the advantages is that they can be read by users prior to starting up the system, helping them install it and whatnot. They're always available, and some of the disadvantages is that they can be lost very easily. So then after they're lost, they don't have another one. They're limited to kind of little booklets in most cases, so there's not much detail and information they can put in there. And if the system is updated, the manual isn't also updated, so there could be some features that are not included in the booklets. That's it. Now I've got some questions.